This is the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Cyberverse Universe Windblade. Wow, one of my favorite characters that was recently created in the Transformers mythology. I picked up this figure from Our Toys for about 30 bucks. Let's get this figure out of packaging. So let me first begin by congratulating and commending Hasbro for a wonderful job they did with the packaging. The packaging now uses very, very stiff cardboard. It's akin to what they're using with the Leader Class Legacy boxes, but it's the thinner version. But the quality and stiffness of the cardboard is just exceptional. It's no longer the typewriting paper, construction paper, soft type of boxes that really get squished up during shipping. So they're now using their patented Transformers tissues. They're no longer using the generic tissues. They now have the patented with the Autobot logo. I'm sure if it's a Decepticon, it's going to be a Decepticon. And they've still strategically positioned it in a place where you could easily just miss it. When you take out the insert, take out the figure, and just throw everything away, you will... It's so easy for you to accidentally throw away the weapons and accessories. And here is Legacy Windblade out of the box. And you know what? I honestly thought I was going to hate this figure. I really expected to just pan my review of this figure. Didn't have high expectations, but the figure actually looks pretty good. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Legacy United Cyberverse Universe Windblade. So the figure comes with two accessories. She's got her flaming sword, the Dark Saber. Oh, I'm kidding. This is her sword, but in the Cyberverse cartoon, it's done in this flaming style and deco. And the hilt still has the turbine deco, so that's pretty cool. It does not have a scabbard. You just clip on the sword onto her hip. Either hip is fine, but I do prefer on the left hip, and it kind of works. Okay, now she has her fan. She uses it to fan herself when it's getting too hot on Earth, because I'm pretty sure in Cybertron it's pretty cold, and she might not have acclimatized yet on Earth. So this fan will prove very, very useful. The fan also acts as her headdress right there on the back, which really completes the look of Windblade's head sculpt. Let's just talk about this head sculpt for a minute. I think the best part of this figure, and what will really sell this figure, is that head sculpt. It is unbelievably good. And in fact, I think it is the best Windblade head sculpt we've ever gotten from Hasbro and Takara Tomy. Look at that, pearlesque metallic white. You've got some Electro Spark Blue, which I guess is part of the cartoon. You got the Autobot faction symbol, some dark metal metallic gray paint here and there. The turbines are only painted on one side, dark gunmetal gray metallic paint right there. Now let's talk about plastic quality very quickly. I was expecting this to be craptastic, but amazingly it's not. The red plastic and even the black plastic is actually very, very, very good plastic quality. I am shocked at how well they did this thing. I was resigned to the fact that they were going to do Studio Series type of craptastic plastic, but they didn't. It's very, very solid. There's even a gloss and shiny finish on it. Well done. It does feel cheap. And the thing that makes it cheap is because they've now instituted the hollow plastic mold pieces now. This is how Godzilla and the rest of the Titans go through the Earth, you know, because the Earth is hollow. This is the same technology they're using for their plastic. And the hollow tech molding of the pieces is really what makes it feel cheap. But it's by no means cheap. The plastic is really very good quality, but because it's hollow, it feels light. You want good quality plastic, but Hasbro is gonna find a way to save money by doing that hollow method, or they'll do solid plastic, but it's gonna be craptastic. So articulation for the figure, she's got a ball jointed neck. She can actually look up to about, what, 45 degrees. She's got a waist swivel. the shoulders. You can go in and out, allow the arms to go in and out, forward and backward, 360. You got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow, swivel wrists, swivel hinge hips, really tight swivel joints. You've got a thigh swivel. The knees are on single hinges, but because of transformation, you can actually bend her knees like they're double hinged. The feet can go up and down and have the rocker tilt. The figure stands at about 13.5 centimeters tall, or about 5 3/4 or 5 2/3 inches tall. And for comparisons, here she is with a couple of other Windblade figures we've had from Hasbro and Takara Tomy. We've got on the right the first Windblade we got as a IDW Thrilling 30 or IDW Continuity Deluxe Class Windblade. And this is the Titan's Return, or the Takara Tomy Transformers Legends Headmaster and Target Master Windblade. This is the Takara Tomy version. This one came with the Target Master and the different paint apps, obviously. And for the longest time, I thought this was the best Windblade we've had. As far as the head sculpt goes, I'm going to say yes. This is the best Windblade head sculpt we've had from Hasbro and Takara Tomy. What they did with this new Legacy Windblade is they combined all the good elements of this figure with the good elements of this figure and the deco of the Cyberverse figures into something truly remarkable and incredible. So transformation, it's actually pretty interesting. It's quite involved, but not annoying. So first thing you want to do, you want to remove the accessory. We'll begin with the backpack. Backpack has always been, you know, a problem since the Titan's Return Windblade. Very obtrusive and could have been better, but when I started transforming the figure, I realized why they had to do this, and it makes perfect sense. So fold down the nose cone. You want to split that backpack, and then you unfold the rest of the nose cone, and then you want to fold the wings down just to get them out of the way. You're going to fold them back up. So the whole backpack assembly is going to fold over. To do that properly, you got to fold down her shoulder pads, my mistake, and just tab that part right there. You want to fold these backpack pieces over the head sculpt and cover it up. It does make perfect sense so that there's enough room for that head sculpt to fit in underneath that cockpit. You want to rotate that waist assembly, the waist piece. You want to just fold up the, I guess, the calves. And then there's another hinge right here. You fold that up like that. And then the feet, you want to fold them down. And then the heel spurs are going to fold up in the other opposite direction. Then the instructions tell you to just combine the feet or legs together. And then the pseudo double hinge on the knees will allow you to fold the feet or the legs up like this. The hands or the arms, they just stay right there. That's something common with the Windblade figures we've had, that the arms don't do anything in transformation. They just stay on the side of the body. But for this figure, the hands have to lock the legs in place by having the hands grip these pegs right here. So once that's done, you can fold the wings back and just tab them onto the knees and lock everything in place. And then you can finally do the calves and just tab them onto the back of the thighs. You're gonna fold out the rear fins, and essentially that is the jet mode. And it does look like how she did on the show, albeit it's a little thicker here and there in parts, a little bit more streamlined on the show. Vertical takeoff and landing thrusters do work. The turbine, vertical takeoff and landing. And she does have some landing gear, which is a little bit of a pain to just, you know, it's a nail breaker to just pull out. You put your nail, dig your nails in. So from comic book to the Machinima cartoon, and then the cartoon, Cyberverse cartoon, Windblade. I think this one is still the best in terms of jet mode, despite a lot of bits hanging in and out. I think I'd give her second place. This one is still the worst jet mode. I'm really, really liking it. The only thing stopping me from making this one as the best jet mode is really how thick everything is underneath, and it looks more like a rocket than a jet, like a rocket with wings, but yeah, it's pretty darn good. Now to plug in this one, I want to put some extra time on this one because the instructions tell you just jam it in. And I initially thought this like thin peg right here was supposed to slot in somewhere here, but no. What actually happens is these pegs right here on the the sword hilt, they're going to peg onto those holes on her ankles. So to do so, well, you can jam it as what the instructions say, but you run the risk of just ruining the figure. I don't know why they even ask you to do that. The best way to really do it is mid-transformation. You have to already attach it. If you want the sword in alt mode as a sort of like a blast effect, or a not a blast effect, but a thruster effect, you can squeeze it in between the legs. Yeah, it looks okay. It feels like the sword is like the jet flames, like, but to me, it ruins the silhouette of the jet. And so some final thoughts on this Legacy United Windblade. This figure really surprised me. I really thought I wasn't going to like this figure. But as it turns out, like I said, this figure surprised me. The quality of the plastic, the design, that fantastic head sculpt, the somewhat involved but enjoyable engineering on the transformation. At the same time, the whole design, paint scheme, sculpt, silhouette of both robot mode and alt mode, the overall look and feel, and how much of the aesthetic of the original Cyberverse cartoon Windblade that they were able to put into this new Legacy figure, and still making it a sort of G1 style, at the same time a Cyberverse figure. I thought that was a terrific thing that the designers did. I have very, very little to complain about this figure. I think I'm gonna give the figure, I think it deserves a 9 out of 10, but I'm gonna bump it up to a 9.5 out of 10, simply because it really just surprised me. Let me know what you guys think of this Transformers Generations Legacy United Deluxe Class Cyberverse Universe Windblade. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.